Kohinoor is said to be the world's precious diamond. Where is it now? How did we miss this diamond found in the Telugu state? What happened to the lives of people who stole it? What's the real history of the Kohinoor diamond? There was no such wonderful diamond as Kohinoor in the entire world. Such a great diamond was found in a Telugu state in India. It was the pride of India. The story of the Kohinoor was not less than any suspense thriller. The Telugu land is a mine of diamonds. Most of the rarest diamonds in the world were found on this land. The towns like Banaganupalli, Mallepalli, Vajragiri, Musalimadugu in Kurnool districts are like mines of gemstones. Rayalaseema is also called Ratnalasema. In the same way, the present Kolluru and Paritala of Guntur district are once called House of Gems. As of history, the Kohinoor diamond is said to be found in this Kolluru Paritala areas. Less was known about how it was named before 1526. Many of the kings of that time called it as Shamantakmani. As we all know about the story of Shamantakmani, which was presented to Satyajit by the god Surya, even now it's the belief of many of the Indians that Shamantakmani is nothing but today's Kohinoor. As per historical evidences from 1083 to 1310 AD, the Kohinoor diamond was with Kakatiyas, the rulers of Orugallu. But there was no evidence of whom it was inherited from. This rare diamond was fixed as the left eye of the goddess Bhadrakali, who is the family deity of the Kakatiyas. In the era of Islamic invasion, looting and religious destruction were the major goals. During 1303 AD, Alauddin Khilji reigned the throne of Delhi, slaying his own uncle Jalaluddin Khilji. There we happened to hear the riches of Prataparudra, who was ruling the south. He sent his loyal commander Malik Kafur for attacking Orugallu. He couldn't fight the army of Orugallu and got death blows. Malik Kafur invaded Orugallu again in 1309 AD. With no choice left to end the homicide which lasted for months together, the last king of Kakatiyas, Prataparudra, accepted his defeat. Malik Kafur looted the matchless wealth which included the priceless Kohinoor that prospered as a third eye of goddess Bhadrakali. Like this, it reached Alauddin Khilji. But it didn't do any good fortune to him. In 1316 AD, Khilji died a horrible and helpless death due to ill health. Later, in 1320, Kohinoor was owned by the founder of Tughlaq Empire, Ghiyazuddin Tughlaq. It went into the hands of Sayyids and later to Lodhis. In 1526, the Kohinoor travelled from the Lodhi Sultan Ibrahim to the Gwalior king Vikramaditya. The year 1526 were very destructive in Indian history. The Mughal Sultan Babur had his eye on the Delhi Sultanate. Lodi and Vikramaditya, despite fighting together, couldn't defeat him. Babur's son Humayun looted Agra and got his hands on the Kohinoor. Babur got awestruck by its beauty and gave it the current name Kohinoor, which means the mountain of light. He had also estimated the price of this diamond as the cost of food for the entire world's population for 3 days. If we take it into account now, we can understand how many crores of rupees it could value. We lost such a great treasure. In 1531, after the death of Babur, his son Humayun became the emperor. In 1541, he got defeated by Sher Shah Suri and got refuge in Persia, which is today's Iran. He requested for the help of the Persian king Shah Tahmasp and gifted the great Kohinoor in return. In this way, it reached Iran. The Persian king, being unaware of the worth of the diamond, took it for an ordinary gem and gifted it to one of his relatives, Sultan Barhan Shah, the king of today's Ahmednagar of Maharashtra. After a series of switching hands in 1650, it reached the Sultanate of Golconda, Abdul Qutub Shah. The gem expert working under the Sultanate, Mir Jumla, lifted many rare gems and diamonds from the treasure, and Kohinoor was also one of them. In 1656, Mir Jumla sold all the precious gems along with Kohinoor to the Sultanate of Mughals, Shah Jahan. It stayed in the Mughal Empire for quite a long time. In 1739, when the Mughal era has almost come to an end, the then Sultan Muhammad Shah got defeated by the Persian Sultan Nadir Shah, and the precious peacock throne and the invaluable Kohinoor have left India forever. But the journey of the Kohinoor is not finished yet. In 1747, Adil Shah, the Persian king, acquired it after killing Nadir Shah. When his son Shah Rukh became king, he gifted Kohinoor to his friend Abdali for his support in his reign as a king. In this way, it reached Afghanistan. It switched the hands of many Afghan rulers like Abdali, Taimur, Zaman Shah, Muhammad Shah, and Shah Suja. During the reign of Shah Suja, political uncertainties have raised due to internal disputes. He sought the help of the king of Punjab, Ranjit Singh. In return, he gifted the Kohinoor to him. In 1839, after the death of Ranjit Singh, Karan Singh became the king. In 1849, Punjab lost a war to the British. The then Viceroy Dalhousie grabbed the Kohinoor from Ranjit Singh's wife Raj Kaur. In 1850, he took it to London and gifted it to the Queen of Victoria, Elizabeth. Since then, Kohinoor never returned to India. By 1851, the weight of Kohinoor was 1800 carats. Later, it's cut into two parts. From 1853, one piece of this priceless diamond has glorified the crown of the Victorian Queen. Even now, it's there in the crown of England's Queen. One thing was common in all of them who acquired this diamond. None of them could be happy. They invited trouble for themselves. The Great Britain, where the sun had never set, had witnessed 2 world wars and has now remained as an ordinary country. The other piece of this diamond was kept in the British Museum for visitors. Whatsoever, we couldn't gain back the pride of a nation, the mountain of light, the precious of the precious diamonds, Kohinoor. That's the tragedy.